What's up, Pisces? This is Jesse with 44 Astro with a general new moon tarot reading. This will be a new moon at 23 degrees Leo. It will occur at 5:38 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you're interested, it will be in the 12th mansion of the moon, also known as Al-Sarfa. I'll post a little picture over here somewhere that will explain what that mansion is. It dates back to ancient Babylon and basically what all magic is based off today, which is the phases of the moon. Back then, it's the mansions of the moon, not just the phases. This one is the 12th mansion, Al-Sarfa. It has to do, it's more of a malefic one. It's represented by a picture of a man fighting a dragon. What it's good for yourself is good for marriage. If you wanted to plan marriage or get married, it's good for growing crops. Not that any of us do that anymore. It's good for, it's not good for jobs or traveling. It's good for changing your appearance if you want to do that in some way. I mean, Leo, right? Even back then, they understood that about Leo. It's all about standing out and self-expression. But what it really represents is like destroying other people's marriages or destroying other people's wealth. So, I wouldn't mess around with it like that. But I'm just giving a little information about the mansion of the moon that it will fall in. But it won't stay there long because the moon moves quite quickly. It'll move through all the mansions within a day. Even every hour of the day is ruled by a planet. There is a calculator you can get or a app that you can get on your phone about the planetary hours, and it'll tell you. You put where you're located in the world and what time zone, and it'll tell you each hour of the day and which planet it's ruled by. Every day of the week is ruled by a planet. Monday is ruled by the moon. Tuesday is by Mars. Wednesday is by Mercury. Thursday is by Jupiter. Friday, Venus. Saturday is Saturn. Sunday is the sun. It's all astrology, everything. Even in the Bible, you'll find astrology all in it. And eventually, hopefully, I'll be able to make a video describing the instances where astrology is basically talked about or mentioned within the Bible. And it's all over the place. Old Testament and New. It's in all religions. Before we could speak and we were grunting in caves, we were looking up at the stars and drawing them on the cave walls. So we've always looked up at the shiny lights in the sky and tried to understand before we even understood anything else. So it is the oldest science in humanity, make no mistake. And it has evolved quite a bit. And there's a lot to it. It's quite important. Ooh, right there. More so than people realize. Fiery climax approaches. I got this card for somebody else. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Scorpio. So Pisces, a fiery climax approaches. That could manifest in many different ways. It doesn't have to be like an argument or anything. It could be other kind of climax, which might not be so bad. But it could be, just a rough situation coming to a head. It could just be a happy situation coming to a head. You never know. We're going to see what the cards say. See what we're dealing with, the general energies. And then we will clarify. I'm going to do my Thoth spread, and we'll clarify with the Thoth deck. Oh, right there. The deck has spoken. Okay, you're not really seeing things clearly. Ooh. Burning down the house. Yeah. Fiery climax. Fiery climax. Something's about to break down. But in order to rebuild, we have to break things down, right? And it's fated. And it's with some kind of authoritarian figure. Some kind of Aries. Something's in your business. Somebody wants to be in control of your business. Unless it's you. You could be the fiery individual. On the bottom could be you. Right? Queen of Cups. I don't put a lot of faith in the bottom of the deck necessarily, but we leave it there just in case it ties in with everything else. Fiery climax approaches. The Emperor's fiery individual. The current question has a fiery individual in it. For sure. It's screaming that it may be an Aries in your life. Or somebody with that kind of energy. You got the Knight of Rods. You got the Eight of Swords, and you got the Tower. So, yeah, fiery climax. Looks like something's going to end suddenly. Could be like a destructive argument in some way. Something's like, we're just done with this crap. Something happens. Or you're worried about that. You don't want to see that kind of thing, right? And it could be with a fire sign. Screaming fire sign, probably Aries, but, it could be just a fiery individual, male or female. And you could be worried about that. Could be worried about some kind of ending, some kind of fiery climax. And that's the question is about that. Maybe should you break it all down and start over kind of a thing. I don't know if I see any cards here that would suggest necessarily starting over, but we're going to get some clarifiers. So the Empress is here, and that's in the outcomes. This is your current path. The Emperor is there with the Wheel of Fortune, so no matter what, it's fated. And the Happy Home card. So it could be, I think maybe you're worried about whoever this Aries is or this fire sign, and you're worried about them in some way, like abandoning you or anything like that. But I think it's all good. It's saying the wheels of fate are turning and you're going to have a happy home. I think it's all good. All right, that's the current path you're on. It seems like it's going to the current path. You just stay the current path, you're going to be good. Feels like the question's about a fire sign within your life. And you're worried about them. Like you feel blind to this situation. You feel like you don't know what's going on in some way. And you feel like maybe they're going to leave you and you're worried about it. Or you're worried about some kind of ending happening in some other way. But it looks like it's all good. Like maybe you're worrying for nothing. I mean, this other path is basically taking a different perspective, right? You could be being stuck, but probably a different perspective. Taking a different perspective on how you see your happy home, how you see your life, how you think about it, because you got the Page of Swords there with the Hanged Man, and then the Four of Rods, which is kind of a happy home card, right? So it's saying, change the way you think about it. Be like, hey, I'm lucky. I have a happy home. I have a wonderful spouse or friends or family, whatever it is, whoever it is in your life. Or maybe you need to be the emperor in your own life. You need to be more assertive. And you're worried about that. Maybe you feel blind in your own life. You don't know kind of where you're going. And it's saying, hey, the wheels of fate are turning. Be strong. Step forward. Take control of your situation. I mean, the advice has the broken heart card in it. And it's in advice. So, I mean, it's like you're not seeing the truth of the situation. The Four of Cups there. And then you have the Hermit and the Three of Swords. It's like you're causing your own heartbreak. It's like you're choosing not to see the truth and just kind of like dwelling in like the worst that can happen. It's like, oh, my heart's going to be broken. They're going to leave me and all this. And this is how you feel on the inside. And you're not wanting to see what's really going on. It's like, hey, see the truth. Don't blind yourself in despair. Whatever happens is meant to happen, right? It's saying the path that you're on, the Wheel of Fortune to the 10. It's a 10-10. So I think you're good. I think you're worrying. I think you're worrying about nothing. It may feel like something. Again, we can't really control what's going on around us necessarily, but we can control what's going on inside us. And the way we end up feeling inside ourselves is going to manifest in our outer world. Make no mistake. As within, so without. As above, so below. I'll always say it. You want microcosm, macrocosm. The world in and of itself will be a mirror of your inner world. Your outer world will mirror your inner world. And your inner world will probably bring up what you think about in your daily life. And they kind of work together. You're trying to balance those things. This is the outcome, whether you like it or not. It looks like you're going to worry anyway. You're going to worry about your love life. You get the Nine of Swords, Page of Cups, with the Empress. Looks like you're going to worry about it. You're going to worry about your love life and your opulency and your happy home and your love. We're going to worry about it. But it's all good. I think it's all good. Male or female, I think it's all good. I think you may just be worrying a whole lot. And I think it's not necessary. I mean, we all worry. There's no like getting around it. And many times it's never as bad as we think it is. Or it's my experience. I worry a crap ton about stuff. And then like even stuff that isn't even happening or even possible to happen, and it never even does happen. But I worried about it. I created some scenario that's a possibility, and then I worried about it for nothing. And it never even manifested, and it wasn't even likely. But a lot of times if you can just rationalize things and really think about it, it's like, it's probably all good. If you really look at the situation around you, it's probably just fine. And it's probably going to work out. And it's fated, so it's going to work out anyway. Whether you however it's going to work out, it's going to work out. And you got to kind of accept that. And that's what it seems like you're worried about here in your advice. It's saying kind of go in and like, don't focus so much on like depression and heartbreak and worry. Like you're going to be fine. Got the wheel of, you're getting the wheels all over the place. Something's coming to a completion. And the Wheel of Fortune is turning. Truth is about to be revealed. Fire climax is approaching. So like all this worry is going to lead to a situation. If you keep worrying too much, like it's gonna make a fiery situation. It's gonna like this is like the wheels of fate turning. This is completion, and it's a fiery card because it's the Four of Rods, even though it's a completion card. It's Venus and Aries, right? And this is the Queen of Swords. This is blunt, straightforward communication, whether you like it or not. And I think this could be very much be an argument card. She has a head in her hand, and a sword that she just cut it off with, right? And it's telling the truth regardless. So if you're male or female, this individual is probably not cheating on you. Probably has no intention of leaving you. And you're like freaking out about it, and it's like going to cause an argument, and it may cause a completion of your relationship if you ain't careful. Because you have the wheel twice and a completion card in this deck, which is another wheel. So like the wheels are turning. And if you ain't careful, you're going to create this reality for yourself. If you worry too much, you're going to create heartbreak. And I think that's what this is saying, right? You're refusing to see the truth. And if you ain't careful, that's going to lead to heartbreak. I think you're breaking your own heart needlessly for no reason. Like look inside yourself, meditate, calm down, see things for what they are. That's what it feels like. Like it really feels like you're worrying. Like you're worried about something happening, like your house burning down or crumbling, whatever the situation is that you built or the person that you built your life around. You're so worried about it. I'm like, yo, don't put that much energy into someone else. You got to work on yourself. Figure out your own stuff before you really manifest on it. Like you can't really be perfect, and you can't manifest anyone else to be perfect because it's never about being perfect. It's about being complete, right? Complete means accepting all aspects of yourself, even if that means that you worry a lot. But you still need to integrate that. But if it's not healthy, you need to realize that and your complete can change, right? Because you also want to recognize the things that are holding you back or in a detriment to you, or that are neurosis or that are toxic to who you are. And it'll be obvious what those things are because it's going to create conflict in your life, and you're probably going to see the conflict around you. And so if it's a specific behavior that you're making, the way you're thinking, the way you're acting, and you're getting conflict around those things, then you should probably start working on trying to integrate those things and change them. And that does take time, and you need to be with someone that's willing to do that for you and with you. And it looks like you're with someone that's willing to work through it with you if you're just willing to, like, try. It looks like the person's an Aries. Or you could be cusping Aries as a Pisces and have Aries in your chart, and it's saying maybe you need to really take control of your life and pick your destiny because the wheels are turning. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a relationship, right? It could just be worrying about your life in general, your direction in life, your success in life, what you're trying to accomplish, all these things. Yeah, you got the Ten of Cups again up here. But you got the Queen of Discs and the Princess of Discs. So it could be about money, right? It could be about money that you're worried, for sure. It could be that's what you're worried about. I think you're worrying needlessly. So I think you'll have it because you have satiety here, which is the Ten of Cups. And that's a happy home card. That's being sated. It's having everything you need and more. And you also have Queen of Discs. That's having stable foundations. You have the Princess of Discs, which is, something that's valuable, something new. And it could, if it's in a relationship, then it is a stable relationship. You just need to know that and see it as that, and then you're good. If you're worried about money and there's you're working hard or you're trying to find a new opportunity, it's coming. You're going to be good, but you need to take the lead in your life. You need to take control. You need to step forward. But with that fiery climax approaching card, it feels like, it's in a relationship of some sort. But it could be at a job too. You need to take control at your job. If you're the boss, you need to step forward and be like, yo, y'all need to listen. If you feel like your subordinates aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, or even your coworkers aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, you need to step forward. You don't have to be aggressive or mean, but you need to be assertive and help everyone understand what needs to be done and how it needs to be done. And that's going to benefit everybody in the long run. And if it's a relationship, you need to confront it and do something about it. That card wanted to come, so we're going to, you need to confront it and be like, hey, we need to work on this in some way. If it's your partner, you need to be like, hey, you need to, stop being so authoritarian, or, stop making me feel this way. It could go both ways. It could be that you're worried about them for nothing, and it could be that they're worried about you for nothing. And so you got to communicate, figure all that out. Yeah, the sun's going to be shining on something. Something's going to be kind of come to light, I think. I don't think it's anything particularly bad. I think it's more like what's going to come to light is that the worrying is there for nothing. I think the truth will be revealed. Debauchery, it's like, debauchery could be, it's called debauch, but it's debauchery. You know what debauchery is. It's like doing all kinds of ill things or unclean or healthy things, at least in whatever moral perspective you deem that is. And then you have like the Princess of Swords, which is kind of a quick message. It's like a message about it, like, and the sunlight's going to shine on it. It's either they did do something in the past, like they cheated on you or you cheated on them, and then that comes to light and you have to talk about it. It's a spotlight. Then you have to work through that kind of thing. Or it's that you think they are and they're not, or they think you are and you're not, and then that comes to light and that leads to a whole nother thing. And then you have to work that out. And that's, it seems really personal and really specific, but that's the kind of interactions that happen between people in relationships. And like I said, and it could be at work too, right? It could be at work. Something like that. And you're trying to get the truth needs to come out, and it's going to come out because the sun's right there spotlighting it. And then it's going to come to a completion one way or the other. You're going to work it out or you're not. Whether it's at work, you might have to find a new job, and if you do, you're going to be fine. You got the current path you're on says 10 of Cups twice. But just because you're on that path doesn't mean you can't switch to this path over here, right? But this path is just saying change your perspective on your home life, whatever that is. So it's saying think about it in a new way. So it's basically the same thing in a sense. And this is kind of the Nine of Swords, what you've been worrying about. And it's saying it's all good. You got the star there with the Knight of Wands and luxury. I think you're good. If you're worried about money, you're going to have everything you need. Because the Four of Cups in this is called luxury. And it's having more than you need, overflowing with abundance. And being stable and have a strong basis. Then you have the Star, which is healing, a wish. And you have the Knight of Rods, which would be like charging forward passionately. And you have like an offer of love here, right? It's like worrying about love and worrying about maybe even a new relationship. So if you're single, it could be that you're really worried about not finding the right person or not finding anyone because you don't feel like you connect with anyone in the right way. But I think if you stop worrying and kind of just let things flow and work themselves out, because the wheels of fate are turning. Wheel of Fortune. The Four of Rods in this deck, which is completion, which is another wheel turning. You got wheels galore. So the wheels are turning. Truth is going to come to the light. And what the things that you worried about that maybe inhibited you from having a relationship with someone or vice versa are going to come to light and it's going to be fine. And maybe you're able to start a relationship now. Or if you're already in a relationship, you work those things out and everything's fine. It looks like everything is fine. It's like there's a lot of worry, but it's unnecessary. And there will be a climax that approaches to where you're going to have to communicate about it. The sooner you do it, the better. That way it's less likely to actually be a super fiery approach, a super fiery climax that's like violent or anything. You don't want that. It doesn't look like there's a lot of violence here. The Emperor is there, but he's surrounded by good cards, so it doesn't feel like it'd be violent in any way. And you don't want it to be like a big loud argument. Then you got to start communicating about it and be open about it and accepting to what their views are with whatever the situation is, whether it's a new relationship, whether it's something at work, whether it's subordinates, whether it's a current relationship, whether it's with an ex and maybe you're debating on getting back with them, that kind of thing. But either way, communication will be key and it's going to come to light. I'd say you're probably worried about like getting your heart broken, maybe. Either way, if it's a new relationship, you may be worried about getting your heart broken. But you're never going to know if you don't give it a shot. And if you're in a current relationship, I think you're worrying needlessly, and whoever the individual is cares about you, and they're probably on your side and are really looking out for you and want to make a happy home with you. Anyway, that's all I got for you, Pisces. Fire climax approaches. Please consider liking and subscribing. If you don't want to like, subscribe, and comment, I'm still grateful for that you're here watching the video. That does help too. But I'm trying to build up these subscribers to get monetized where I can really start putting some time into the astrology, put some time into the grimoires, put some time into the live streams, natal charts, all that good stuff, horoscopes, transits, whatever. And tie it all back into astrology and videos on karma, law of attraction. I'm gonna go into all of it. And I'll even ask for inspiration, and I want to learn from you as well. I guarantee some of you got some stuff to teach me. Every time I teach anything, I learn as well, and I make sure that it definitely happens. But anyway, that's all I got for you, Pisces. I do wish you a happy new moon and a happy August. Stop worrying. It's going to be okay.